life, okay? But someone that it deems themselves a criminal by definition does not follow what? The law. So they're not going to follow the law anyway, right? So I think that's something to put in your mind. Most people that have a license, whether we disagree or there's an ideology difference on how you believe in your right to carry or not, or how you should do it or whatever, I think everybody here and everyone that is affiliated with people here cares about safety. We all want to be safe. I wish we could go back to when I grew up in my grandma's south side. She didn't lock the front door. There's no way in hell I wouldn't lock my front door now, right? But nobody does that anymore. We live in a different time.
Did you still have the same question?
Hold on, I'm not finished talking, sir.
I know, 1 second.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm addressing something. So, I'm sorry, Dad, I just want to finish. So, I'm just saying, so keep that in mind. I mean, I just don't want hysteria. We want to keep everybody calm, and that's why we're making ourselves available. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And I want to mention that this is a new law, so your stats, 0.03. Let's come back in a year and talk about the stat, because what I'm saying is that yeah, this is concealed, but this is open, and that's a different game. So let's look at that in a year, and then we'll talk if it changed or not. And if it did, that's great. But
it'd be very same people.
well, I don't think so, because I think that the classes are like filled now.
I mean, let me
But I'm just saying, speaking from a person who's from this community, who's dealing with a lot of crime in this community, that's a different perspective. And I'm saying that as an individual,
I think
let's come back in a year and look at that number. I understand that, but
I think both, they sort of missed the point.
I understand all that, sir, but hold on. This is I'm not in this meeting, so just saying. I understand that, but at any given time, you could have gone to a test and taken it and passed it in flying colors. Mental illness is a big problem in America. 1 out of 4 people in America, or in the world, suffer from mental illness. It could happen at any time. Anybody can snap, and that's why there is some concern. But I appreciate your facts. Let's just come back in here and talk about those facts, and let's see if they're still. Hopefully, they decrease and not increase. But I just want to mention that from my perspective.
I want to make it very clear.
All right.
Can I say something?
Hold on. He's still.
You need to let her talk now.
Allowing
All right.
people to do that is changing.
Okay, that's fine.
I
Thank
would
you,
like
sir.
to make it very clear that whenever you go to a school, you cannot just go to the school. You have to go through the office, and whether you're going to leave your child there or not, and you want to go and talk or do something different, you do have to go to the office. So
Yeah, okay. Anybody else? We're doing good with time, by the way. We got about 10 minutes. What? Yes, sir. Yeah, like you with the Spurs, yes.
Yeah, kind of a 2-part question. You talk about parking lots and all that, but what about like walkways in the Riverwalk, downtown areas where there's 51% places, but
All right.
inside the building,
So
right next to it, it's not necessarily a parking lot.
that's
it's
a complicated question, but the answer is very simple. The Riverwalk is a public park. So the Riverwalk walkway, open carry is allowed. The businesses that rent the space from the city, those are private businesses, and they are allowed to prevent open carry. But the Riverwalk itself is a park, and so just like any other public park, it's allowed.
I see. And the second part of my question is kind of for the chief. You said your officers aren't going to really, unless you're suspected, I guess, of committing a crime. I came, I guess, perfectly dressed this evening to this meeting, but I put on a bandana and a wife beater, and I get on my motorcycle. I look like a criminal. I'm tatted like head to toe, but I have a license, so. But I wouldn't be treated any different from any other person wearing a suit, out and about, doing my business for the day.
You wouldn't get profiled as
Right,
a criminal?
yeah, because all my life, I mean, I'm 40 years old now, but I've been profiled. Can't tell you that.
a good look at the sign.
What's required to get the license so people know it's not just being given out?
You have to go through a 6-hour course. You do a background check. Okay, to get the license, the question was with the license, you go through a required 6-hour course. You have to show proficiency on the range with your weapon. You can shoot 50 rounds basically, and then you go through the statutory no carry zones and answer a lot of questions. You go over the use of deadly force, defense of third person, self-defense under the statute, things of that situation, the scenarios, what you're required to do and display your license to notify law enforcement if you get pulled over. Just to make something just crystal clear, because I just couldn't sit back, the policy that the SAPD has taken is their policy that they're going to follow. Under the government code, a law enforcement officer has a right to ask for your license. It's in the code. I mean, and any law-abiding citizens will be like, there you go, sir, thank you, is everything good? And then they can't detain you past that. So the government code says that only a law enforcement officer can ask somebody that's open carrying, say, may I see your license? And the government code says you shall provide it. So, but again, that's the policy that SAPD has taken, and that's fine, but I mean, I'm just telling you what the government code says.
Ed, you're next.
Yeah, respectively, will there be excessive minority and impoverished area profiling?
I mean, that, you're talking about for law enforcement?
Yeah, for law enforcement,
There
with
should
open
be.
carry.
Simple answer to that, no.
Okay.
Simple answer.
There was there have been people with hands up already. The lady here, and then there's a gentleman back there.
One more question. For me?
Yes, ma'am. You and then
Okay,
the gentleman back
I
there.
work with Tex Dad in the construction, so I travel all over Texas. Do you consider the job site private or public if I carry the gun?
Job site. Actually, the question was, is the job site public or private? Well, if it's public, if it's on public property, then it's allowed. If it's private property, then the private property owner can decide what they want to do.
Well, like we do NTTA, like the toll road or construction on 35 on the road. Whatever construction in the road, is it public or?
But what, you work for TxDOT? Has TxDOT said whether they're gonna allow their employees to carry guns or not?
We're a subcontractor with Tex Dad in the construction.
What contract do you have? I mean, so you're a subcontractor, you're not technically a governmental agency, although you're functioning as one. That's gonna be an HR issue with you. I mean, and depending on where you're at, you don't get to, you're not absolved because TxDOT can say to their employees, you're not carrying here.
So, we're not allowed.
It depends on what
It
TxDOT,
depends on
I don't understand, I don't know your exact detail, that's why I'm real leery. Here's the lawyer answer that sucks, it depends, right? So, I mean, it depends, I need more information to be able to give you a better answer. Does that make sense to you? You're not a TxDOT employee, but you're a subcontractor, so, and then depends on where you're at, whether you're in public or private property. I mean, your employer probably is gonna make a policy, whether they're gonna allow their employees to carry. Did your boss say they're gonna let you carry?
Not really.
Okay, then don't carry.
They've extended the time. I got you. They extended the time to 6:30. Are you guys willing to be here till 6:30? It's gonna be up to you. It was till 6. Yes or no?
I'm fine.
Yes, 6:30? Sure. Okay, they gave us an extension to 6:30. So, round of applause for that.
Thank you guys for coming.
Right here, ma'am. Because she has her hands up for a long time.
My other question is, because you said law-abiding citizens, I live in an area where there are a lot of non-law-abiding citizens, and on the New Year's Eve, around my house, I hear nothing but gunshots, not fireworks. So if I call 911, you'll come? If they ask me for a direction, I'm gonna say north, south, east, and west, because it's all around me.
This law does not allow a lawful licensed carrier to do this. You can't say they all do it. I'm just saying, if anybody does that, I'm gonna prosecute them, I promise you. I don't care if they have a legal license or not. That's disrespectful, there's no order in that, and they're abusing the law.
Excuse me, ma'am, where's your neighborhood?
I live around the Guadalupe Cultural Arts area.
All right, and let me make a point. Let me make a point here. Excuse me. Let me make this point. Chief, because of this law, and there's a lot of confusion towards our law enforcement. Excuse me.